We're going to be unboxing this 48-08-260 portable bandsaw table, or to go with this portable bandsaw here. This is the deep cut variable speed bandsaw 27-29-20, and but we're going to be unboxing this guy right here, and to make this a stationary, so we can use this as a stationary bandsaw as well as a portable bandsaw. So we'll go ahead and get started on unboxing, and then we'll assemble it and test it, and give you my review of how much I like it and how it's working. And we'll see what's inside. And we've got instructions, and it looks like a couple of arms. And the base, and a few more pieces. So we'll lift this up out. And set down here on the bench. And there's our bandsaw table. And it comes with 2 arms. We've got these will hook on onto here. And so we got 2 different arm styles. I think this is the one we'll end up using. And we'll need this block. It'll end up replacing this block. And then this is the candle and some hardware to tighten the chain up with. Allen wrench for tool, and some washers. So your wrench. So all this stuff will be to tighten the chain, which is underneath this right here. So I'll lift this up, I'll slide it out. Here's the chain, and this is the hardware for the chain. So that'll be one of the things we'll do later. So we'll go ahead and just put it back in the bag. And I'll set it off to the side. And our instructions. And the instructions actually show the deep cut on the front here. And you can see that it has this little piece right here, which will be right there. So this is the one that's going to end up getting used along with this. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this off, put this on, get this ready to go on to the bandsaw itself. Now that we have it unboxed, we have some of the parts sitting here and over here. And you can see the part numbers on the back sides of the arms. We will be using the 28-10-340, this guy right here. And we'll be using this block right here, because we have the 27-29-20 bandsaw, and we're gonna put them together here. And we'll be using these bolts to bolt that piece here to this piece here. But first thing we have to do is remove this one. And so we're just going to be removing these 2 nuts back here, this pin, slide this out, and slide that back on, and bolt it back together. We'll remove the 2 nuts, the 2 concave washers, and they were like this. Slide this off. This little washer will have to slide just like that back on the other one. And then we have to disassemble this piece right here. And this is like your key ring. So we'll spin it around. And once I have this done open, I'll just slide it on through. And slip it off here. We'll have the white side. You can see the back side looks similar. So we'll slide it out the back. Keep the spring on it. Just put it right back in. Set this off to the side. We won't need it for this application. Then we'll put this back in. And that's back together. So then we'll make sure we have this on here. We'll go ahead and we'll put it through like this. The 2 concave washers, so they're opposite. And we'll put our nuts on. I'll wait just a little bit to lock them down. Works nice. Next we'll bolt this piece here onto here. And you can see the back, it has adjustment, and that will help you make sure your cut is square. You have to adjust that back and forth. We'll move these off to the side. And the next thing we'll do is we'll remove this handle, as it shows here in the instructions. So we'll go ahead and take that off. It's 8mm socket, I believe. Yes. And it is a little bit tight. You can see some blue Loctite on it. So it was Loctited in. And take the handle off. Keep it someplace so you can use it again in the future whenever you want to do this. So we can slide this down here so we get access to it a little better. And now I'll have to tighten everything back down a little bit more. As you can see, it's really wiggly because I have these loose yet. Next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and tighten this one down some more. 3/8 socket. And I'll just jam this one up the backside a little bit. That feels better. If that'll work. And now we have the bolt here tight, these tight. We'll have to tighten this one up against the cover, but I'll pull it back. I'll move this red box out of the way. So as you can see, and make sure you lower this piece right here because you have a stop down here. See that stop? That will keep you from cutting into the top of your table. If you don't have that lowered, if you don't have this piece lowered, it will try to cut into the top of your table. I put some 4x4 blocks underneath of it for right now, and I'm going to go ahead and put a couple lags down in. To kind of hold the blocks underneath. And that way I can finish doing this little section right over here. Because one thing about it is this either has to hang over an edge, because you're going to have this handle down here, so it's going to be lower than your table. And what I'll probably eventually do is get some little short pieces, and I'll show you in the video. I'll try to have that done before I publish this, and so I can have it just setting a few inches up off the table just to see how that works compared to these 4x4 blocks. So we've got the chain slid up through the center. So next thing we'll do is we'll just slide this through. And the hook. And it might take me 2 hands to do this one. But you get the idea. A thread's on there. Okay, and now you can see I have it threaded on there. And I had the hook on backwards, so that's the proper way the hook should be on too. And we'll also need to tighten this bolt and tighten the lock nut. And you just make a finger tight, because this is just a plastic guard. So you'll just, I'll back this off a little bit. And you'll just run it up to where it's just touching it. Just a little pressure. And then just lock that down with a 9/16 wrench. And now I'll go ahead and put a battery in it. And we'll see it work. So that's a good sign. I'll go ahead and maybe put something in it and see how it cuts. Okay, we've got the part clamped in. You run a chain over the top. You hook it in down here, and you just tighten this up. Once you have that tightened up, you make sure you have it lined up where you want it to be. Some of them have a laser. This one just has a little light that'll come on as soon as we start cutting. And This piece is 4 3/4. This depth is 5 inches. We're going to see how much we can cut. This should just about be a maximum cut on this saw. Just clear it right there. Ran into a little problem. Look right down there. Just barely hitting. So, what a bummer. Okay, again, you saw this is 4 3/4. And this is the absolute maximum height that you can go because it's touching that guard right there. Cut it. 4 3/4. Yes, I think it's a little crooked, so I'm gonna have to do a little more adjusting on the setup. Well, we just saw it cut, and I thought I would just check it with a square, and you can see if I get close enough. It's really close at the top. And we've got about a 1/16 inch gap at the bottom. And at the top, it's just about touching. So to adjust that, I just come over here to this side. And take this top one loose. You can see it's slotted. And then I can tip it just a little bit. Might take that bottom one a little bit loose. Oh, it just went the wrong way. So make sure you keep them snug. And then just kind of raise it up and down until it's touching at the top and the bottom with them snug, and then tighten them up good. So just a little pointer to help you get that cut a little bit more square. One thing you're going to want to do also is to make sure that this is square to your blade. And if it's not, this one's off just a little bit. You want to take this one loose, then bump this around just a little bit. That looks really good. Then you'll tighten these two back up, make them good and tight. Tighten it a little bit more when it's off the camera. And then you'll make a test cut just to verify it's all squared up, nice and square. I ended up drilling another hole. I laid it out, transferred it, and I'll show you why in just a minute, or less. Okay, I just showed you I drilled a hole, and it actually goes behind this. So this will lock in. Now, whenever I go to get done cutting, I won't be able to raise this until I release that. But I also took my handle that was right here, and I didn't want to lose it, so I moved it over here. Now, whenever you drill the hole in, you have to make sure you got it at a pretty good angle, because that's not straight down. That is at an angle, so you might even have to use this as a reference to get your hole right and tap it. And that is actually 3/8, and if it takes a 5/16, I think I had an 8mm in my hand up here, but 5/16 will work for your Allen socket, and 3/8 tap, 3/8/16 tap and bolt. And I believe this was a 1/4 inch that I drilled for it. So, and I'll show you the reason why I wanted it. So, if I'm not using it and I need to pick it up, I can just pick it up and carry it. It's not light, but before, if you tried to carry it or move it, this will just be hanging. Very awkward. And you can also carry it like this. And it is not light, but it just gives me another option on how to carry it. So you might want to add the handle only, or you just so you don't lose it. And the pin, that's up to you. Like I said, if you won't get done cutting, you have to pull that back out every time. So it might make it a hassle, might make it a little more difficult, but it does make it so you can use this handle and this handle for transportation as well. So it gives you a couple different ways of picking it up and carrying it and moving it. In review, I already knew that this was going to be a good piece of equipment. We've been using these tables under our bandsaws for years at my work. The guys just really abuse them and they just hold up. We've got them, and I'll show you some pictures where the stop is broke or this piece is broke, and they just keep cutting, and this is just cut into the table, just all beat up, but they just keep working, they keep using them. I can't remember breaking any of these. The bandsaws are good units. Again, like we said, we've had this one on the farm for a while now, and we've used them at work as well with the 120 volt and the M18 version, and they are just really good units. I can't really complain on either one of them. I guess maybe a little bit on the cost, what you can say about all the Milwaukee stuff. You pay for what you get, and you get good stuff, and it costs a little more. I noticed that it's not a surprise because the way things are angled, like I showed you earlier, 4 3/4 will not fit. 4 1/2 is what you're going to have to go on your width. We lose a little bit. That's a 5-inch from here to here, but we're losing a little bit here. So, but that is what it is. 4 3/4 tall, just barely works. Again, 5 inches, I don't think it would come all the way down because it's cutting into here. So if you got a 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 piece, you should be able to cut it with this guy. So, but yeah, it's a good piece. I'll put a picture or two down below of the ones that the guys actually cut into the tables. But yeah, they're robust. They work. I do prefer the ones with the pushers. If they had something that had like you screw it in and it closes up with the pusher, that design I prefer over this chain. This chain is okay, but I do like the ones with the screw and the pusher. That is my preferred design. And I also put a little footage afterwards of this same setup, same mounting bracket with the 120 volt deep cut Milwaukee. But again, my review is this is a very good piece of equipment right here. This is Bandsaw's 6232-20. This is a 120 volt version of what we just mounted, and it does use the same block. Down there in the front uses that same block there. It also uses the same mounting bracket as the M18 version did. It bolts to the same. It bolts down the same. Pretty much it's the same setup. That's the deep cut. Uses a chain. Everything else is the same. The light is on anytime it's plugged in, which is nice. We'll spin around. We'll take a look. You can see there's a catalog number. 6232-20 deep cut variable speed bandsaw. And I'd like to thank you for watching this. And if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. and you have a good day.